You've heard Quebec Premier François Vincent saying and suggesting that we should reduce the number of foreign temporary workers and immigrants in Quebec, temporary immigrants in Quebec. And that flies in the face of a lot of positions taken recently by several economic groups in Quebec. They're saying, no, quite the contrary. We're actually asking the government to actually attract more immigration to develop our workforce. One of them is François Vincent, Vice President in Quebec for the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses. Welcome back, François.
Thank you for having me.
So, François Vincent has said, okay, what we need to do in Quebec is reduce temporary immigration. The majority of our temporary immigration in Quebec is comprised of temporary foreign workers. These workers are actually working in Quebec,
right.
And yet the government seems to say, okay, we need to actually reduce the number. What is your position on this?
Our position on this is that it's a complex issue.
Mm-hmm.
We understand that there's a lot of immigrants that have came in Quebec, in Canada, and that could put pressure on some services, housing, or etc. But you cannot just say we will reduce by half the temporary foreign workers in the next year without having an impact on the economy. So it is very, very important to take into consideration what will be the impact on small businesses, and it would be huge because there are no business owners in Quebec that brings a temporary immigrant for fun.
So that's actually well put. So, because I think it's important to remind our listeners that the temporary foreign worker comes in at the request of the business owner.
Yeah, and it is the last resort for small businesses. Before doing that, they're going to increase the wages. After that, if they do not find workers available, they will add flexibility in their work hours. After that, they will introduce and expand employee benefits, expand their recruiting efforts beyond traditional region. After that, if they don't find the employee needed, they will do the paperwork and pay thousands of dollars to get temporary foreign workers that will come to the business and help the business growth and help other citizens and Quebecers and Canadians to have a job.
And just to be clear, François, the paperwork is no small thing. It's not a small form, right? It takes months. You have to demonstrate that there aren't any available workers in the region where you are, et cetera, et cetera. It's quite the process, right?
In subsectors, they have been fast-tracked in the last past years to help businesses to have temporary foreign workers faster. But yet, it is a more job for the business owner than just hire somebody that is in the same city of the business. So for sure. Sure. And even if the shortage of labor is less intense than last year, it's still it still reduced the productivity of business owners. And if we want to have business in place, it's not by cutting dramatically the number of temporary foreign workers that will benefit at all for the businesses and even the region. Because when you look at the data, the regionalization of immigration is increased, have increased because of temporary foreign workers. So if you cut that, you will have an impact also on some regions in Quebec, in the province.
Let's look at the data. So right now in Quebec, what are we talking about in terms of foreign temporary workers?
Oh, there's a lot. There's 5 in the last report that we have saw in Radio-Canada. It was 500,000 temporary migrants. So there's a lot. But when you took that on all the numbers of workers in Quebec, the percentage is not so huge. And if you want to help businesses to have other possibility, for example, automation, but it won't. In French, we are saying ça se fait pas en criant ciseaux. It won't. Created by magic, and when we look at the CFIB data on automation, more the business is have fewer employees, less they're going to see automation as a possibility in their business. So we have a lot of communication to link the automation to the businesses. And the other part of it is the first barrier is the cost. And we are in a place that the confidence of small businesses never have been lower except 2020 when they closed the economy. And the costs are rising everywhere. And we have the worst fiscal situation for small businesses in Canada. So government doesn't help right now.
In terms of what businesses need in Quebec, these businesses would need an increase in foreign temporary workers. What's the magic number here?
The magic number would be to not reduce it. If they want to reduce it, they have to look where to reduce it, and maybe the asylum seeker would be a better way to start. And by that, working more to link them with business owners, because they have reduced the number of time to have permit to work, but where the business owner will find them. So the government has to work better to link these newcomers with business owners, and do not take that political file to gain political points, but with data and to help to grow our society and our economy.
Now, François, this one I can't get my head around. You represent the Quebec chapter of the Canadian Federation of Independent Business. But when we look at, for example, other major economic groups in Quebec, they're basically saying the same thing as you are. All your colleagues representing economic development groups, industrial groups are saying, no, we actually need at least the same levels, if not more, immigration. When you talk, because I know you talk with government all the time, you talk with the Quebec government, you talked with the economic ministers, the deputy ministers in the economic ministries. What are they answering? Obviously, they can't ignore the fact that there's unanimity in Quebec's economy to have more of these workers. So what do they tell you?
They are listening. They are trying to find a solution. At the same time, they have made small steps in the last consultation of immigration pluriannual consultation to what we will do for the next year. But still, I think that maybe this file is taking more in a way to respond to maybe gain some political point than what would be the best public policy. And these kind of data or issue should be taken with cautious, looking of all aspects, and to mobilize positively all the different part of the society. And you're right. If all the business association are saying it would be a nightmare for economy to cut drastically in immigration, government should listen. I can just tell you a data. We survey our members 2 years ago, and it was nearly half of business owners of small business who were saying that if the topic of shortage of labor stay the same or get worse, it could put my business at risk. So it's not a small issue, and we have an aging population. So we have to be cautious because the economy of Quebec and Canada is derived by small businesses.
Appreciate your perspective as always, François. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. François Vincent, Vice President in Quebec for the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses.